What's up, everybody? And it's Brian and Randy back for another tip for Tuesday. And I thought this would be a good tip to talk about it. And honestly, we might have talked about this before and stuff, but it literally just happened in the conversation I had earlier today. So I thought it would be a good thing for us to talk about and just kind of reiterate a little bit more. But it's one of those things of just like kind of having that. The tip is basically like not to write somebody off or never say like never. I guess is one of those things, or there's words like never and always. They never work out. So just be careful of that. So the conversation I was having earlier today is basically I was talking to somebody. He's a wholesaler. He's done a couple deals, real reputable guy and everything. And he basically had a buyer that was kind of like, I guess they didn't like one of his pricing on one of his deals, and there was kind of a situation, and they kind of were going back and forth and stuff. But he's basically like, man, I'm just never going to sell to that guy. If he ever offers on my property, I'm just going to tell him it's already under contract. I'm never going to sell him again. Like that's not that you never know, because next time he might have a great property, he might have a great price for that property and stuff. So kind of the tip is never to say never when it comes to like those situations of just writing people off and knowing what's going on. I've seen situations happen before where maybe people are just inexperienced today, and next year at this time they might have 10 rental properties and just killing it. They got their stuff figured out and things. So Randy, just what do you think about that? Just when you're kind of working with other buyers and just seeing other people just doing deals around town of not necessarily writing somebody off, or like maybe sometime the deal you're trying to work out doesn't really work out, but then later that person has kind of got it figured out and like it makes sense to sell to him and stuff. So what's your opinions on that?
Yeah, I think you made a good point. It's just if you're working with a buyer, they don't follow through. It's not always going to be their fault. It's just the chips just didn't fall in the right place at that time for that deal, and it's easy for your emotions to take over and be frustrated and say, okay, well, if you didn't follow through on this deal, then we're never going to work together again. I understand that emotions can get involved, but you got to put those aside and just go for the next deal. It's always going to be there, and you don't know the other person's situation. Like you said, they could be brand new, it could be their first property, or times like these, people's financing are falling through. So just got to give it time, give it another chance. I like to do like the three strikes you're out rule, because after one or two times it could be a mistake, but the third time could be a habit.
Yeah. So, and that stuff's going to happen. And I mean, Randy and I have had these conversations where like, we'll see somebody's offers come over, like, is that even worth looking at? We know they're not going to offer enough and stuff, but you have to look at their offer. You have to, see what they have to say, because you never know. There's been times where we feel like we maybe should have written somebody off, and not necessarily in a bad way, but just like, hey, they're doing the same thing that we are doing. So maybe we shouldn't even sell to them and things like that. But you never know what the situation is. And it's all about kind of that community base and kind of working together and just understanding kind of where people are coming from and understanding what they're trying to do. But just a deal is a deal, and you never know what can happen. So just never write somebody off or anything like that. So Randy, any last little kind of words of advice on that?
No, man, I think you hit the nail on the head.
So awesome stuff. So that's your tip for Tuesday today. Just never write anybody off, and never say that. Those words like never and always, they tend to not work out most of the time. So take each deal for what it is, and you never know that time that maybe something doesn't work out this time, maybe it will the next time. So keep that in mind. So thanks a lot. We'll see you next week for another tip for Tuesday.